It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I had the privilege to interview the RIT Women's Lacrosse Assistant Women's Lacrosse Coach, Coach Mackenzie King. How are you doing today?
Hi, Brandon. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to start coaching in college women's lacrosse?
Yeah, well, I started playing lacrosse in third grade, and it wasn't anything that I had aspired to necessarily be when I got older, but coming up through the sport all through high school, all through college, I played on a club team too throughout my middle school and high school career. I got to college and I realized that I was obsessed with it, and it became everything that I was thinking about and doing in my free time. And then COVID actually happened, the pandemic happened like a year or two after I graduated from college, my undergrad, and I wasn't really sure where I wanted to be. So I decided to go back to school to get my master's, and that coaching was really where I wanted to be and where I ended up deciding to pursue in my career. So it kind of developed on its own just with everything that I had done throughout my life.
What was that like, obviously going to Potsdam, New York, and getting to play collegiately for them?
It was awesome. I knew I did an overnight official visit with the team in, I think it was the beginning of 2015. So, right at the start of my senior year. And I got there and it was really cool to see like how they are just day to day. And I knew I didn't actually intend to play college lacrosse when I graduated from high school. And then Coach Bruce had me come up for an interview, or not an interview, an overnight. And I just felt like that's what I wanted to do. And it became this from there. So
What was that feeling like getting to put on the Potsdam lacrosse uniform?
it's almost, I don't think about it as much like while I was in the moment, but thinking about it now, it was so surreal to say that I was a college lacrosse player. Um, I loved nothing more than just being out on the field with my team during practice or during a game. And it was my favorite part of college was season every year. So definitely the best feeling.
Of course, during your collegiate time, what were some of your biggest accomplishments?
Some of my biggest accomplishments, my freshman year, we actually beat one of the SUNY teams that was one of the best that year. And we obviously proved ourselves to be one of the best that year. So as a freshman to come in and make it to the SUNYACs conference was probably the tone, like encompasses how we were as a class. My class specifically, we worked hard, we showed up, and we wanted to win. So that's probably the biggest accomplishment. We actually beat SUNY Oneonta. So that was amazing. One of the best. I can picture it, everyone running onto the field at the end of the game. It's one of my favorite memories. And then just being on the team really was an accomplishment. I had worked so hard to earn every minute on that field. And I believe I ended my career with about 30 caused turnovers. So as a defender, that's what I played. It's really hard to get on the stat sheet if you're not scoring goals. So if you're not an attacker, if you're not a goalie, it's hard as a defender to get on that stat sheet. So I worked hard. I wanted to be recognized. So cause turnovers and ground balls is really how you get there. So I made a point to be the best on that field. And whenever there was someone on me as a defender, I always made sure that they never got the ball for too long. So
Or coming out of college, what was it like getting into college coaching and coaching at SUNY Brockport?
SUNY Brockport was a great experience. Steve Wagner is one of the best. He had been coaching at that point for probably 24 years, which is insane. He has such a resume behind him. So getting to learn from him as a coach, and that school, we were ranked coming into that year in top 25 in the nation. So at a D3 school, especially a SUNY school, State University of New York, to be in the top 20 is such an accomplishment in itself. And to be a part of that program and learn how to be a top 20 team was definitely one of the best experiences ever. And him hiring me, I'm so grateful for it. It opened my eyes to a lot of things as a successful and, full-time coach, what that means.
During your time as an assistant coach at Brockport, what were some of your biggest accomplishments there?
I think my biggest accomplishments as a first-time head coach is just having players develop, like looking at them and have them look at me and be like, hey coach, like you taught me that, or hey coach, you gave me the confidence to do that, and just adjusting them to put them in the best successful position that they could be in, for sure.
While at Sunny, what was it like obviously getting to coach on the club level and become a head coach on the club level?
For 3D, which is where I coached for the club level, I think it made me realize how much effort parents put into it. I definitely never realized while I was at the club level how much sacrifice it takes for parents, and then how much, you want your daughter to succeed. So keeping that in mind, I really wanted everyone to do well. It is very competitive, especially my side of the country. It's really competitive and it's really gritty. So to be a head coach and to be in charge to make sure that everyone does well was definitely a huge responsibility, and I didn't take it very lightly. I'm still in touch with a lot of those girls. The club level, it's hard to do with it being as competitive as it is and college coaching. So I definitely like to stay focused. So college or club coaching definitely allowed me to be a better college coach with that
What
experience.
what was that transition like from going from SUNY to become an assistant coach to coming to RIT to become an assistant coach?
The transition was, I'm thankful that I had that experience at SUNY Brockport. It definitely led me to be better as an assistant for RIT, just knowing how to talk to players, how to get that certain niche for each of them, and to make sure that you have to know your personnel. So to be a coach, you have to know how to talk to players. You have to know what makes them tick in order to do the best on the field. So obviously the admin things, office stuff, like comes with time. Definitely have to be organized. And it's just a lot of knowing, like I said, know your personnel. So you have to know how each girl ticks. So that comes with time too, a lot of experience.
What was that feeling like when you got to become announced as the next assistant coach for RIT?
I think it's really exciting. I mean, RIT has built kind of a lacrosse, I want to say almost dynasty, in the sense of our men's team has always been really good and really competitive. So Coach Aaron Wagner, who's our head coach, I knew coming in that that's what she wanted on the women's side. So her and I work really well together, and I want to support her in winning that national title for the women's team too. So it was really exciting to kind of announce to Liberty League and the rest of the women's lacrosse community, like, we're going to be a threat and we're ready.
Of course, what was that feeling like the first time you got to step on the field of the lacrosse field for RIT as an assistant coach?
It was really exciting. I think, anytime you're a new coach, there's a few butterflies that come along with it, especially an assistant. I'm the type of person, I want to do well and I want to succeed in anything that I do. So of course, there's a few nerves of like, will this work out? How will I do here? But I think ultimately the strength of that comes from my team. They're always ready to compete. They're always ready to win a game. They love getting feedback. So that also helps because they believe in me and I believe in them. So it works for a good dynamic.
Of course, what does a typical game day look like for you as an assistant coach versus players for RIT?
For me, I like to start my day with a workout. And with the girls, obviously they're not working out, but I like to get my mind right into that athletic zone. So I usually start with workout and then I go to Starbucks, I get a coffee, and then I'm into the office and I'm ready for pregame. So we send out our scouting report that morning of, what players to look for on the other team, what they like to do. And the players have that when they come into the locker room, and then the music starts going, the energy starts to flow. The girls are getting their breakfast eaten, they're doing their hair. It's a lot of just prep and like getting themselves into that headspace of like, all right, we're gonna go. And then we come into the locker room about 10 or 15 minutes before they take the field, and we give them a little coaching pep talk. We run down the scouting report really quick just so everyone's on the same page. And then us coaches head out, and then the girls head out right as warm-up starts. They warm up about an hour before game time starts. So if we have a game at noon, they're out there usually by like 11:10. And yeah, that's a typical game day.
As an assistant coach, what is that feeling like getting to step on the field on game day?
It's really exciting. I think there's a lot of energy. I think the hardest part about being a coach is that I'm trying to keep myself in that headspace and not by not like I can't put on a jersey and take the field. So learning how to kind of make those adjustments and give feedback, and like if this like we always have plans. We have plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So if this doesn't work out, then we have to go here. If this doesn't work out, then we have to go here. So it's constantly adjusting. I like to write everything down so it's not a surprise when I have to make an adjustment. Coach Wagner is the same way. She loves to be prepared. So I think for us, if something happens in warm up and we're like, wow, that can't happen, we'll make an adjustment to the starting lineup. And just making sure they're focused.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you started to help build for the women's lacrosse program?
Yeah, so this has started to really take momentum. Now that we're out of COVID, this can be our huge focal point this year. And our biggest thing is accountability. So we have each class has defined roles and expectations. So the freshmen all the way to seniors, we have their roles defined and what we expect of them as coaches, as players. So seniors are all about being leaders on the field. When drills are going bad in practice, they're making sure everyone's focused, all the way back down to the freshmen who are their basic responsibility is to take care of recruits when recruits come and to learn as much as they can and ask as many questions as they can. So with those roles defined and expectations defined, it becomes really easy to hold the team accountable. And with 32 girls on our roster, it's easy for someone to kind of slack off or not go through what they need to do. And we try to make sure that that doesn't happen. So with all of those expectations, it then becomes really easy to hold people accountable. Like, hey, you signed this accountability expectations and roles. Like, we're holding you accountable now. Like, you're not meeting expectations. And that goes along with feedback as well. We're really big into feedback. Hard conversations have to happen. And we're also like, our job at the collegiate level is to also prepare these girls for life after college. So a lot of student athletes are prepared for life after college by holding themselves accountable, having hard conversations, and wanting feedback. So I think that's really important and what we strive for at RIT.
Who are some of the teams that you face each week in your conference for RIT?
Yeah, some of the teams that we face were our first game is actually Brockport on March 1st. So we face Brockport, we'll face Nazareth, We just played St. John Fisher this past weekend in a scrimmage. We played SUNY Cortland, who's one of the top teams in the nation as well, and the top team in the SUNYAC League. So we played them for our first scrimmage 2 weekends ago. We will face Ithaca and William Smith, who are probably top 5, top 10 teams in the nation for D3 out of the Liberty League. St. Lawrence University, which is up near my alma mater, St. Lawrence as well, and Clarkson. So a lot of really tough teams.
What is that like, obviously going to play Brockport, who obviously you've had experience of coaching with?
I want to say that it's silly almost in a way, in a sense of, I know a lot of obviously besides the seniors that graduated last year, I know the entire team. I know what makes each player tick. But I have a job to do as well, and so do they. So we come in knowing what each team has to do, and hopefully RIT comes out on top. But I wish Brockport nothing but the best. That is a great team. They have great players. It's tough to coach somewhere and build relationships and then have to leave and then have to play that team again. But that's part of the job, and the girls understand that, and we still have great relationships. So it'll be tough, but we got a job to do.
Of course, for RIT, what does the home atmosphere look like when playing teams on home versus obviously going away to play them?
Yeah, you almost get a sense of like protectiveness over your home field. Like, you never want a team to walk on wherever, like whether I was a player or a coach at Brockport or RIT, you never want a player to walk onto the field and think that they can just beat you on your home turf. So I try to instill that in my RIT players. I said that to my Brockport girls. We have to represent when we're at home. So
What is that like? What are some of the things and accomplishments you've done at home, playing at home turf?
at RIT, the biggest accomplishment is just getting everyone enough playing time on the field during our scrimmages. I haven't played in a game yet. We haven't played a game yet at the home field. So I haven't accomplished nearly what is on my list yet, just because the season hasn't officially started. But the past 2 weekends we've had scrimmages is just making sure everyone's getting on the field and getting as much game-like situations to where we have it on film, and I can make sure when game time comes, we're all ready.
As you get prepared for playing on your home field, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to in this upcoming season when stepping on the field for the first time as a coach?
I think for us, it's definitely getting to that Liberty League. That's step 1. And then step 2 is winning Liberty League. So if we can make it into conference, I believe that we'll have enough juice and razzle dazzle to make it to the finals. Definitely for us, our goal this year is to make it into those conference games.
What are some traditions that you've started to implement for the RIT program?
Some tradition is, I love when the girls like game day hair is like really big to me. Like, if you look good, you're gonna play good. So I try to start with having the girls braid my hair. So I don't know why it's so silly, but it gives us that bonding time and almost like extra time for me in the locker room to feel like what they feel and know that I'm bought in, so they should all be bought in. Yeah, so like getting my hair done by the ladies after they are fully dressed and ready. It's right before the coaches come into the locker room. They'll do my hair.
What does the recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes looking to play women's lacrosse?
So the recruiting process is fairly simple, I believe. If you are interested in playing at RIT, like, definitely reach out. We go to a lot of tournaments over the summer there's 3 of us coaches. So between Erin, Nicole, and I, we're gone pretty much every weekend throughout the summer. So especially at tournaments where we have probably 3 or more recruits we'll all try to be at. And President's Cup, which is towards the end of the year, and fall, which is the biggest tournament of the year, we go to, and we'll scout probably like 60 to 80 athletes that day between the 3 of us. And yeah, if you're interested, send us film, and we have prospect camps as well. So during the summer, right as fall semester begins, we'll put out like our link and put it in our Instagram. And if you're interested at RIT, and that's a possibility as well, if we didn't get to see you play over the summer, you can definitely come to campus and play for us in our prospect camps. And we have one in January as well. So it's just a lot of communication. Just communicate to us, send us film, and we'd be happy to get you on our recruiting list.
Of course, when on the road, looking at those prospects in those camps and tournaments, what are some of the things that you look at as an assistant coach?
My biggest thing is attitude. So when a player, makes a bad pass or doesn't catch the ball, like how are you adjusting to those adversity moments? That's my number one. My number two, obviously, if I see a junior or senior in college, how are her teammates looking at her? How is she looking at the field? Is she able to use both hands? Left and right? Can she catch in her left and throw in her right? Can she throw in her right and catch in her left? A lot of just those type of things, but facing adversity and how you bounce back is definitely our biggest one.
What does the official visit look like for those prospective student athletes coming to RIT?
We've had a few this past fall. Us coaches love to greet you when you get on campus. So you'll come to campus, you'll meet with us coaches, we'll meet your parents, and then we have set you up with our host student, one of our freshmen on the team. You stay with them in the dorms. They feed you, maybe take you to a hockey game or a basketball game. Hockey games are really popular because our hockey team is D1. So those are always, the Policini Center is unreal. It's like a professional arena on campus, which is so exciting. So it's nice to take them there. And then the next morning you'll get breakfast and you'll come meet with us coaches again, and then you go home. So it's a lot of just spending time with the team, getting to see yourself on campus, kind of live on campus for the day and see if you see yourself at RIT.
As an assistant women's lacrosse coach, what is it like obviously seeing those freshmen put on that jersey for the first time versus the seniors putting it on for the last time?
I think for the seniors putting it on for the last time, that's the moment that it really sets in of this is it. Like we have to go all out. This is the last time I'm going to be on that field. This is the last time I'm going to be in this jersey. So it's leaving it all out on the field. And then with the girls putting it on for the first time, we try to encourage them, don't take anything for granted because it goes by so fast. So living in the moment, taking it all in, and knowing that it's every game you have to go all out.
What is it like, obviously, as a coach, getting to see them have those player accomplishments and those career highs?
I think for me, it's all about, I knew you could do it. Like, I'm not in this profession because I doubt any of you. Like, I am here because I know the potential that you all have. So seeing them, making sure they see themselves through, my eyes, where it's like, I wasn't surprised at all that you could get 86 strong, or I wasn't surprised at all that you could put 10 points up on that scoreboard. So getting them to realize their full potential and where they're at is definitely a good one.
How's it like, obviously, getting to see those seniors go on and leave RIT to go to professional, whether it's Athletes Unlimited, the US lacrosse, or internationally?
It's so amazing for me to see, especially as a woman. We don't really get the opportunity to play professionally like men do in male sports. So it's really exciting to see that those are options. And if you work hard enough, I think anything is possible. So getting to play professionally is definitely different, and it's exciting. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for that still.
What are some of your future plans for the program for RIT Women's Lacrosse?
Our future plans definitely are continuing on that accountability and feedback and straightforward ship. We're moving in a pretty great direction, and just building, a team that is nationally recognized is definitely in the future.
What advice would you give those high school athletes looking to become college lacrosse players?
Work hard and be a good person. That's my best advice. That's what makes a really good college player.
What advice would you give those college freshmen that are entering their first year of college lacrosse?
Take everything in, learn as much as you can, ask as many questions as you can, and have confidence in yourself.
What advice would you give those college lacrosse players looking to enter the professional, whether it's Athletes Unlimited, the US, or internationally?
Kind of the same boat. Work really hard, be a good teammate, be a good person, and you deserve to be there just as much as everyone else.
What advice would you give those future college lacrosse coaches that are looking to get started in coaching in college lacrosse, whether they're assistant coaches or even one day being a head coach?
I would say to reach out to as many people as start somewhere. So I started at wherever they would hire me because I knew what I was capable of and built from there. So Aquinas was thankful enough for them to give me a position, and I built from there. I reached out to all the coaches that I knew and said, please take me in. And if they don't have a paid position for you and you want it bad enough, volunteer your time, because that shows a lot too.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find the RIT Women's Lacrosse Program on social media along with you?
We actually have an Instagram account, a Facebook, a Twitter, and you can find us on our website. So it's rithathletics.com, and we're under women's lacrosse. And then our Instagram, which is our pride and joy, is RITW Lax.
Where can my listeners also find you at on social media?
I have an Instagram, and I'm also very active on our RIT Instagram. So Mackenzie King.
Thank you again, Coach Mackenzie King, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with the RIT Women's Lacrosse Program.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Mackenzie King, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.